Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Once again, I'm Greg, and this is the Starting 11 show, coming off the back of consecutive wins, back-to-back wins, which is great, and a longer period of not being beaten. Lampard has brought us into this season very hard to beat, very hard to score against. We're tight defensively. He's brought in leadership at the back. He's tightened up the midfield. And last season we were just hemorrhaging goals, unnecessary goals. We lacked any kind of authority at the back, any kind of system, semblance of an idea of how to defend. So the signs coming into this season weren't great, but from what we've seen so far, the foundations have been laid for us to be a really good unit, defensive unit. And as soon as things start clicking up front, either with Calvert-Lewin coming back or new personnel in January, I think we're on for a bit of a winner. Certainly, I wouldn't be putting us in that relegation bracket as things stand. As I said, back-to-back wins, but against teams, Southampton and West Ham, who have been well known to be struggling for goals this season so far. So this, of course, we got United at Goodison, is a big test for us to see how effective our defence really is, how authoritative we really are in midfield. It's possibly our biggest challenge so far. I know we had the derby already, but Liverpool, we're on the same points as them as I record this, so they're not the biggest threat in their current form. I'm sure they'll hit that form sooner or later. Something will click. It's definitely not apocalyptic there. So this will be a good test. Great to see how our midfield shape up. Great to see how our defence marshals some pretty unique threats in what Man United have to offer going forward. So going into the team news, of course, Calvert-Lewin is in contention to be picked. From what I've read, it's unlikely he'll be thrown straight in. With Calvert-Lewin, now there's a history, isn't there, of injuries. There's a build-up of past issues, and once you start to get that, on your injury sheet, it's hard to shake it. That's everyone's concerned about Calvert-Lewin at the moment, isn't it? That are these going to be persistent injuries that plague his career? Is he ever going to have a full season fit? And that's the reason I think he probably won't be thrown in at this stage. What's the point of aggravating an injury if you're just coming back from recovering? Maupay's doing well enough. Perhaps we see Calvert-Lewin in the later knockings to provide something different if we need a goal. Mina and Holgate are also unavailable, but have returned to training or will return to training in this week or the next week. Way we're lined up at the moment, I don't see either of them dropping into the starting 11 unless Frank, for some reason, decides he wants to go back to a back three. Now that we have the personnel to facilitate it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is my opinion. But that's the first thing I want to know from you guys. We started with a defence that looks very different to what we have in front of us now. When these players come back, we had that first game where dropping like flies, and the second game, players in that defence were just all it left was Mr. Reliable and another Mr. Reliable, Tarkowski and Cody, the two guys who didn't suffer from the injuries and are now the most successful centre-back partnership in the league. So do you see a space for Mina, Holgate, Keane, Godfrey? What does our roster look like going into January? Do you try and trim some of the fat off there and get rid of people? Can you see a way forward for any of these players? We'll be looking to activate Cody's contract, so around $4 million. So is there space for these other guys? And is there a roadmap into the team for them? Let me know that. But getting into the team, and of course we know the rest of the injury sheet means no Patterson, no Townsend. All these players are out for a more extended period. Pickford starts in goal for me, of course. With no Patterson, it's got to be Coleman. Backline really picks itself. Cody and Tarkowski will be the centre-back partnership. And then you've got Mikalenko, who had a good interview midweek talking about the tutelage he's getting at Everton now with Leighton Baines and Ashley Cole. What more could you want for as a young left back who's trying to learn the foundations of the game? In the Premier League, the two best Premier League left backs of all time. So great to hear the role they're having in his development. Both teaching him how to get forward a bit more, and that's what we like to see from him. He's become almost characteristic, hasn't he, for trying those volleys at the back post or as they come out the box. So that's my back line. Kind of picks itself. Midfield again picks itself. Garner and Onana. Iwobi will be the third man there. Iwobi, a revelation. I wax lyrical about him every time I do one of these videos. What more can I say? Garner's come back, the same player we sold, and Onana is also a bit of a revelation. Probably was meant to be a younger player who was integrated, but again, injuries and incompetence has meant he's got his shine early, and he's really capitalised on it. And I think with Garner next to him, he's getting the right tutelage as well. So those three, great. And honestly, looking at United having the derby last week, their midfield looked ramshackled. I know that's Man City being incredibly effective in every part of the pitch, but I honestly think we can have a midfield that dominates theirs in this game. I don't think between McTominay and Eriksen, Casemiro is obviously a different animal, but I honestly think we can take charge in that part of the pitch, win our battles there, and I think that could give us a foundation to get something from this game. That being said, front line, where we'll struggle a little bit more here, is the tail of the season, isn't it? Where are the goals coming from? I think you've got Gray, Gordon, and as I said, with Calvert-Lewin still struggling back from the injury trail, I would keep Maupay up top. That'd be my team. Pretty much unchanged, of course. Gordon coming back from what was a slight flu or something. Pickford, Coleman, Cody and Tarkowski, Mikalenko. A middle three of Onana, Garner and Iwobi. And then Gray, Gordon and Maupay. What would you change there? Happy with the shape? Would you go to a back five considering it's a slightly tougher opponent? I certainly wouldn't. Who do you want to see in the team? I'm still keen to see what Garner can do. That's R-N-E-R, Garner, not Idrissa Garner, because he was great in the Championship last season. It'd be nice to see what the integration plan is for him, what role he plays. At the moment, it's sort of Tom and Decore, isn't it, who get the nod in the later knockings of the game. But let me know. That's a team. Maybe next week we'll be looking at three wins on the bounce. Certainly, it'd be great to still be able to say that defensively we look solid and we're still seeing those foundations for growth. But that's the team. Let me know what you think, and hopefully a win. Cheers, guys.